Away from Parliament, let's talk some data, especially from the Auditor General's report. Now, fresh data from the 2024 Auditor General's report puts procurement breaches involving public boards and institutions at a staggering 335.3 million, making more than 500% increase compared to the previous year. Now, Joy News Research computation further revealed that over the past 4 years, procurement breaches of Ghana's public procurement laws have cost the country more than 1.5 billion. Other findings expose deepening losses or lapses in public sector accountability and non-compliance with procurement irregularities. Lead data and research analyst Isaac Kofi, again, still in the studio, to help us understand this data properly. Kofi, what's the data telling us?
Well, I mean, when you talk about procurement irregularities, we are simply talking about procurement that were done not in alignment with the Public Procurement Act or the procurement laws. And when the Auditor General put out that data, what we try to do is to understand how much we may have lost or how much has actually been locked up in terms of procurement irregularities in a span of 20 years. So what we did was to look at the data from 2020 to 2024 and try and understand how much cumulative amount, 1.58 billion, roughly 1.6 billion Ghana cedis is what we are talking about in terms of procurement breaches in the 2025 Auditor General's report that was released. If you look at it between 2020 and 2024. So what we did was to actually break this down.
Right.
How did we get to 1.6 billion? Remember in 2020 during the COVID period, procurement breaches became a big deal because we recorded almost 800 and somewhere 50 million Ghana cedis. That's roughly about 846.13 million Ghana cedis in 2020. Then we saw a big decrease to 306 million Ghana cedis in 2021, and then significant again reduction to 42.71 million Ghana cedis. And in 2023, we saw the best record or the best number we have ever recorded in the span of 5 years. 53.73 million Ghana cedis was the procurement breaches or irregularities in that year. Then, if I just look at it, from 53.7 million Ghana cedis, we are now talking about 335.7 million Ghana cedis. That's roughly about $32 million in procurement breaches, where procurement things that were bought without proper procurement regulation and all of that. So, in terms of these, irregularities, if you look at it on outstanding debts, loans, and recoverables, irregularities, we are talking about it increasing by more than 1% or more than one, somewhere around 2 times in terms of the percentage increment between just 2023 and 2024.
Okay, Kofi, English, the loan recoverable.
Yeah. These are, if you go away from procurement and try to do the overall 18.4 billion Ghana cedis irregularities, the side that came from loans and recoverables actually went up by 1.5 times if you compare it to 2023.
Okay.
If you do same for procurement, which we are currently analyzing, I just wanted you to look at this. The bigger number in there was the loans because it was about more than 12 billion Ghana cedis out of the 18 billion. But it just went up by 1.5 times. In terms of procurement, if you compare the 53 million Ghana cedis to the 335 million Ghana cedis, we are talking about it increasing by more than 6 times the value we recorded in 2023. And in fact, the reason why this is important is that there are other irregularities like cash that went up by more than 581 times simply because of a certain state-owned enterprise called ECG.
Right.
You go on the side of procurement, the same ECG was mentioned, where, according to the Auditor General, ECG paid $17 million more for certain items that they could have just ordered from direct manufacturers. They decided to use local suppliers to do those procurements.
Shouldn't that be easy? Shouldn't that be affordable? Local suppliers than importing from direct
Exactly.
manufacturers.
And according to the Auditor General, when they did the math, if ECG had gone ahead to order those, do those procurement with the direct manufacturers, they would have incurred a lesser price.
Okay.
But ECG decided to go with local manufacturers and again here procurement interest. And according to the Auditor General, ECG incurred $17 million more. That's about, around that time, 225 million Ghana cedis more of the original price they would have paid if they had ordered those items from the original manufacturer. In fact, that makes ECG one of the biggest contributors to the procurement breaches we saw in 2023. And not just procurement, but if you go on the cash side, they account for more than 50% of the amount that was recorded in 2024.
Thank you, Kofi. That's some good eye-opening and a better understanding. Now,